I don't know when, but this has become a much bigger thing today. So, Abby, today we're here to talk about college.
We are.
Okay, your college experience.
I am.
Your college loan experience, just all of those things,
Yes.
right? This is really near and dear to my heart right now because my oldest is going to be a senior, and we're going through this. You can't believe like the spreadsheets and research, and if you imagine me as a planner, like I think it's normal.
Yeah.
And then I share these things with other people and they're like, you're insane. What are you doing? Like spreadsheets, you have 20 different columns, you're tracking all this
Just for
different
college?
stuff.
For like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm trying to determine, right, it's a different world today.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that my all of my children, but Nico right now in particular, is going to get the best return on investment, right? Because it's really expensive, which it's much less affordable than it used to be. And unfortunately, you've kind of experienced some of that, and that's what we're going to talk about. Whereas for me, it was very different because, like the way I like to talk about it, it was about, my tuition was about $7,000 a year. Okay. So, you assume
Where'd you go?
So I went to Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado.
Oh, wow.
You've never heard of it.
Nope.
However, there is one other individual that lives here, Patty Hobom, that lives here. So shout out, Patty. And go Skyhawks. Really small school in the mountains though. And but I was a whitewater raft guide and a ski instructor, and I love the outdoors.
That's
So
cool.
my thing was I want to go where I can enjoy myself as much as possible in the outdoors and get my education at the same time.
Yeah.
So that provided that. Now, to that point, I had been accepted at CU Boulder, but even at that time, it was too expensive.
Yeah.
So
Because you had to pay out-of-state tuition, right?
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. And then Colorado was, at the time at least, difficult to get your to get residency.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So you pretty much had to be until you were 23 years old. They made it really tough. So once I turned 23, I did get residency, but until that time, I was out of state.
Yeah.
But the point I was going to make is that paying $7,000 a year over 4 years, 28 grand, and I graduated pretty much with a job making 30 grand.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I got to that point pretty quickly. Right. So today it's quite a bit different. You assume $30,000 a year, maybe a little bit less for some of the smaller schools.
Yeah, it depends. My experience, I am originally from Port Huron.
Yeah.
And I decided to move to Saginaw to go to SVSU. And for in-state, it wasn't terrible. It was about a little over $5,000 a year, I'd want to say.
Was that after some assistance that you got, or like scholarships, or because of your grades, or?
Yeah. So, yeah, after scholarships and grants and stuff. So I don't honestly couldn't tell you like what I was paying every semester.
Yeah.
I would just see it in my account and be like, oh, it's covered. Something's covered by a grant, by a scholarship. And then I knew what I had to pay, or I'd be getting like refund checks, which I'm sure I'll get into because I didn't use those properly. But
So I'm curious, like, did you have help? Because I'm super involved, probably more involved than I should be, I guess. But I do feel like it's my investment, right, to a large degree. Although Nico's probably going to have to kick in some of his own time and energy into this as well. But did you have someone there to help you, to say like, hey, here's some scholarships you should apply to? Or
Not really. I felt like when I was doing my applications, it was pretty straightforward. I will say they make it easy for you. Like at least I only applied to 2 colleges, Wayne State and SVSU. I knew I wanted to go to SVSU, and so I didn't really bother. Yeah. It was super simple. And then once you apply and you get accepted, they send you billions of emails saying like scholarships are open and here's the portal you take to do that. And so I would scroll through it and anything, you could filter it and see what applies to you. But honestly, like I applied to any single one that I could that it offered me. I did get a scholarship. I got one that paid, I think mine paid for $5,000 per year, but it split up between semesters. And it was a renewable scholarship. So the one I got, I had to do nonprofit work and log it, and then it would renew. But I know, like for my brother, he also went to SVSU. He didn't get any scholarships.
So they alerted you to these opportunities, though.
Yes.
SVSU did, or the state?
I think SVSU did, because they set you up with like once you're accepted and you, accept back. they set you up with your email. You're already getting stuff in your email for it.
Yeah.
Like they were pretty on top of it.
That's really cool. So I'm curious, your friends probably went to other schools, right?
Yeah, I had a lot go to Grand Valley, a few go to MSU. Yeah, just here and there, everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of people from my high school ended up going to community college, which I didn't even consider.
Sure.
Which I wish I did.
Yeah.
But I don't regret going to a university. I mean, it was a lot of money, but I had a really great experience.
Yeah. Good. So I'm curious, and we won't use names, but you had all these friends that went to different schools in different parts of the state. And you're still young, and your friends are still quite young, right? In their mid-20s or whatnot, right? So was there a big difference, return on investment, right, for maybe a kid, guy or girl that went to Michigan State as opposed to SVSU? Have they gotten further ahead quicker? I'm just curious.
I think it depends on major too.
Okay.
Because a lot of the people I know going to like MSU are going for like medical.
Sure.
So I mean, the medical field is set up for them.
Right.
So they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of my friends were doing medical. For me, I was doing marketing.
Yeah.
And business.
Yeah.
And so I had a little more leniency that way. Just with like my workload wasn't as heavy. My homework was mostly like project based. I wasn't working on people.
Sure.
Like a lot of my friends were.
Yeah.
Which is funny because now the workforce, I think about this a lot just because I had trouble getting a job right out of college.
Sure.
Like I would look at
a
my
lot
friends.
of people do. Yeah.
Yes, but I would look at my friends who are doing medical and they're doing medical.
Yeah.
And then when I graduated, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to start my first big girl job.
Yeah, yeah.
And then 6 months later, I'm still applying for jobs. I showed Kristen, my boss, when I first started at TriStar, all of my applications on LinkedIn and Indeed, and it was just pages.
Wow.
Pages and pages and pages.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not necessarily going to say that it's
tough
like
to
what
say,
school you go to that'll have the bigger return on investment. It's major based and kind of
and
like
I get what I want to make sure our listeners understand. I'm not throwing shade at SVSU at all.
Go Cards.
What I think there's a perception, right, that if you go to a Big Ten school, right, versus a GLIAC school, right, that's going to put your resume at the top of the list, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's any evidence to show a
knew.
difference, right? I wish I knew too, right? Because that's part of it.
Yeah.
Where do you go to school? Does it make a difference?
Because if you are going to like U of M or MSU, you're gonna spend more money there. Like
exactly.
Guaranteed.
Right. And therefore it makes your return on investment more challenging.
Yeah.
Because suddenly you might have paid $120,000 for what you could have done at SVSU for, I don't know, call it $50,000 or something.
Yeah.
So good. So thanks for sharing some about your college experience. Couple other things we want to talk about. A big one, student loans.
Oh goodness.
So talk to me about your student loans, what that how that starts, like I've heard of FAFSA and these things, right?
Yeah.
So
FAFSA, I got most of my student loans. I didn't do like a private loaner. I always got it through federal aid.
Okay.
So it was always FAFSA, and it was the worst process ever.
Okay.
It is so just extenuous. You have to know everything about your dad, your mom, all this stuff. And it was just, but I had to do it every year because I needed the rest of it covered.
Right.
And I did get federal aid every single year. I got unsubsidized and subsidized loans.
Okay.
And me being like 18 years old, I had no idea what that meant. I was
Sure.
like, oh, great, free money.
Yeah.
And I accepted everything.
Yeah.
And then later, after I graduate, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's interest accruing. And I had no idea. And now I have all this money sitting in this account that I have to pay back.
Yeah.
I just checked my student loans because it is in forbearance right now. I'm on the SAVE plan. I have about a little over $20,000 and not much interest just because it's been frozen. Conveniently, all of this started happening as soon as I graduated.
Right.
So I haven't had to really worry about it, but I also kind of do worry about it because it's not sending me emails. I know nothing about it because it's still in trial and stuff like that. And every time I go to check, it won't let me set up automated payments because it's in forbearance. Like I can't do anything about
Let's back up just for some of those folks out there and for me. What is forbearance? Like, what does that mean? Okay.
It's basically frozen. Like all my stuff is frozen. I don't have to pay anything.
Make payments, right?
My payments from what the account says September of 2026. But with, new laws and bills and stuff in place, that's all going to be changing soon. Sure. But then when I was doing my FAFSA and getting all these student loans and stuff, I was accepting them like crazy, like candy. And
then, anything that came your way. Like, yes.
I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then you get refund checks. I'm sure for those who get a little bit of federal aid, you get a refund check back from the college because, they give you so much. They don't know how much you actually need. They're like, here's what you're approved for.
So the money, does it go directly to you or to the college?
The check got sent to me.
Okay.
So I could do whatever I want with that refund checks. You could have said,
forget school. I'm going to do this other thing, right? I mean, theoretically.
The federal aid, the federal aid gets sent to the school. Okay. But then the rest of it that isn't used got sent to me.
Okay, gotcha.
So I did get a little bit.
Oh, and that's the refund.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes. Okay. Every semester I would get like a couple $100 to maybe like $1,000 of a refund check. And I was not fiscally responsible. Yeah. And so I spent it.
So let's talk about that just for a little bit of fun.
Okay.
What's something you did, and granted, responsibility, right? You regret like spending that money. Now you're going to have to pay it, but you probably had a good time from time to time with that.
Actually, funny enough, most of my refund checks were just like me surviving. Like my car, I didn't have a very good car. Yeah. So I'd have to pour money into getting it fixed. It was ridiculous. So I don't regret that part. But then like, sure, I had a couple dollars that I could, go out, hang out with my friends. And then I had all this extra money so I can make plans with my friends that I probably couldn't do before. Yeah, yeah. But a large chunk of it was mostly like car stuff, grocery shopping. Yeah.
So it was kind of needed. I mean, because without that money, it would have been, those things would have been a problem.
Yes.
Right.
But I wish I saved some of it.
Yeah. Anything you did that you regret? I mean, you talked about some of the regrets, but any purchases, like, did you ever go shopping in, Somerset?
I'm pretty sure once, like, this was like freshman year. I would never do this now. If I got this sort of money, I bought like concert tickets, like crazy. Like I would spend over $200 on one ticket.
Okay. Wow.
And then funny enough, that concert didn't even happen. Oh, because I think COVID happened.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so I got it refunded, but
yeah. Hopefully you got some of that back. Yeah, good. So you talked about grants, scholarships, and aid. There are also a lot of other hidden costs that you mentioned, right? Because I think we often, and when you're doing your research, right, you see tuition is what and maybe universities or colleges sort of specifically hide that because they don't want you to know exactly how much it's going to cost because it would scare you away. Yeah. But what other kinds of costs do students and parents need to be thinking about beyond tuition? Yeah.
So when I started at SVSU as a freshman, they sort of require freshmen to live on campus and have a meal plan. Yep. Oh, I don't know if they have changed that or if there was a way out of it, but that's what I was told. Like you're a freshman, you need to live in a dorm and you need a meal plan. Yeah. So you have to pay for some of your dorm. Yep. Granted, if you live on campus, they do give you a grant for just doing that. Oh. I can't remember if it covered the entirety of it or if I had to pay a little bit. Okay. And then you have to pay for your meal plan. So they had a bunch of different meal plans, like choose whatever's best for you. I think I chose one that was like a certain amount of swipes to get into the cafeteria a month. Okay. Yeah. Because just I cooked. The dorms there have like kitchens, so I cooked a lot.
Yeah, and back then I remember in college, this sharing a little bit of myself, we had one of those hot plate things. Do you know what I'm talking about? And I would have a pot and a hot plate. Yeah. I'd throw some pasta in it. And I'd make my own spaghetti so I didn't have to walk down to the cafeteria.
Hamburger Helper was my best friend.
Okay.
I loved Hamburger Helper. I never had ramen in college, which is kind of like the stigma. Like everybody, I had some ramen. Never had ramen, just Hamburger Helper. Okay. Cool. But yeah, there was the housing, the meal plans, and then books. Yeah. And also like just the classes. Some classes are a little bit more expensive than others,
like
especially
materials.
Yes, the materials. And when you're getting into like your actual major ones, the higher level classes, they can get a little more dicey. Sure. But books, I know it was a little bit easier my first couple of years because you can get your books off like you can rent them off like Chegg. I used to use Chegg all the time, and I could rent my textbooks.
So it's CHEG?
CHEGG.
Okay, I've never heard of this.
Oh, you should look into it.
Yeah,
it's
but
awesome.
This sounds terrific.
So if you go to like when you start your classes, they'll give you a list of textbooks. Yeah. But for your son.
Yeah.
Don't buy textbooks until like after the first week of class because you might not even use them.
Yeah, right.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So I would get my list of textbooks, and if you go to like the library or like the bookstore that they have and you try to rent these books or buy them, they are so expensive.
Yeah.
But Chegg most of the time have these textbooks for like half the price.
And do you rent it?
You rent it.
And
or
is
you
it
could buy
digital, or do you get the physical book?
You get the physical one. They send it to you.
Wow.
And they also send you like Red Bulls with it.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Really?
I know.
So that's a really cool hack. And
Yes.
that's kind of like some of the things I want to learn about. First, I want folks to hopefully walk away thinking, okay, I need to be cautious about how much money I'm taking. But if there are hacks, right, like that.
Yeah. So it was easier my first couple of years because it was just like basic textbooks. But in my higher level classes, or especially like science classes, a lot of the professors write their own like follow along lab books.
Okay.
And you would have to buy those from the bookstore.
Wow.
I know.
That seems kind of weird. Like
I try not to think too much about it.
I wonder if they get paid like a percentage
That's what I
of
wonder.
that. Yeah.
Because I remember for one of my like biology classes or my lab, I had to go to the bookstore and buy the actual workbook.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like that could be a conflict of interest, but
weird, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of extra costs.
Yeah. A lot of hidden costs. And of course there's fun, right? College is supposed to be fun.
And it was.
So, yeah. So what, and you mentioned you had a job also.
I had a bunch of jobs.
Yeah.
So freshman year, I worked for the newspaper because I was like, I wanted something that was a little more flexible because I don't know what to expect my first year going in. It paid fine, not as well as I would have hoped, but it was also like I could take as many stories as I wanted to and get paid more. I just didn't because I was trying to get my schedule together.
Yeah.
And then next year I was a server. And then I think the year after that I worked 2 jobs. I was a server, and then I worked at Alta. So my days were basically like I would wake up at like 6 a.m. Go to Alta, do truck.
Yeah.
Go straight to school.
Truck is like unloading trucks. Okay.
Storage. And then I'd go straight to school, and then I'd come back, have to get changed, and then go serve all night.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you think was that like from a mental perspective, from just a life experience perspective, when you look back on that, is that a positive memory for you, or is it a negative thing, or was it just like, hey, I got to get it done?
It was something that I just had to do. Like I had to work to put myself through school. I did have a little help here and there, but mostly like work got me through it. And the 2 jobs, one of my jobs, I make it sound super strenuous. One of the jobs was super laid back. I only worked like Monday nights or like if they needed me. That was my serving job.
Yeah.
But I will say it just got tiring. Especially the 2 jobs, like having an entire day full and not having any time to decompress at the end of the day and just having to get up and do it again the next day.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But I didn't think working while going to school was too bad. But again, it's like what your major is, what your class schedules are
How
like.
rigorous is your workload?
Yeah.
I think, to your point, like I worked in college, very similar jobs, right?
Yeah.
I delivered a lot of pizzas.
Did you?
I delivered.
Oh, did you work at Domino's?
So I was at Domino's.
Yeah.
I was at a local joint for a little while.
Yeah.
It was called Huck Finn Pizza.
Oh, cool.
And then I was at Domino's for a while, and then I went to KFC and I delivered chicken.
I didn't know they
for a
delivered
couple of years.
chicken.
They don't. And I've never seen it anywhere else. And honestly, and then I worked as a cook for a while. I was a photographer. I worked in a liquor store. I had all these different jobs.
All over the place.
Because usually you'd have a job, and then I'd be like, hey, I'm going home for the summer or whatnot. Every once in a while, they'd hold on to that job for you for when you got back.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it because I made different friends, right? And looking back on it, it was a way, if I wasn't going to be working, I was going to be out with my friends spending money.
Yeah.
So better to be working, at least making
a little
some money.
bit, have some fun money.
But yeah, it did get pretty busy at times. But for me, at least, I needed that structure.
Yeah.
Because if left to my own devices, I would have, found something fun, but maybe not so good to be doing. Yeah.
I will say my one regret, especially like when it comes to working while at school, was not finding a job that catered to my major, like internships or like co-ops and stuff like that. I feel like that kind of attributed to like how I couldn't find a job right out of college because I didn't have that real world experience that everyone is looking for now.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I did a lot of real world projects.
Yeah.
But because I didn't work in an office or I didn't have any experience with these like Fortune 500 companies, not a lot of places were willing to even like interview me.
Okay, so that's really interesting because this is a big, I don't know when, but this has become a much bigger thing today.
Yes.
Either I just missed it when I was going through school or it just wasn't, but I didn't have, none of my friends did internships. So it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you didn't take that path, but probably some of your friends did.
I mean, I actually know none of my fellow like friends at SVSU that I knew of did.
Sure.
But I tried. I remember I had high expectations though for myself, and I would only apply to like. It's funny we talk about Domino's. I think I applied for their internship for the summer.
Yep.
But during school, I never thought of like trying to get some sort of part-time job as like a marketing assistant or anything like that. Cause I just felt like I didn't know everything quite yet, but I don't know. I wanted to go into a job like knowing everything.
Yeah.
Like I was set. But I feel like nowadays you kind of need some experience. I wish I tried a little bit harder to get that experience. I feel like it would have propelled me a little bit further after I was done. So
yeah, it's good to hear because I do, we have interns at TriStar, right? So
which another piece of advice for students out there, if you're in college right now, reach out to companies that may not even be hiring.
Yeah,
because they could take you. They could, even if you just want a couple hours of experience, they would probably take you.
I love it. That's a hot take for sure. Another hack.
Yeah.
Because for instance, I took on an intern last summer.
Yeah.
Right. And
just for like a couple weeks,
right?
Yeah,
right. But I didn't, I wasn't marketing for that. I wasn't asking around to get that. A friend of mine reached out to me and said, hey, my daughter's looking for an internship.
Yeah.
She's interested in finance. And I worked with HR with Laura to put together an entire agenda and program for her.
Yeah.
And we brought her in for a few weeks. And hopefully that was, she had said that was a great experience for her. So.
Or like job shadowing too. We've gotten a lot of job shadows recently. And like, granted, they don't pay, but you're still getting experience. You could put that on your resume.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. That was the case for her. I actually tried to pay her. And it was going to be easier, frankly, if I did, because of hiring laws and things of that nature. But she couldn't take money because it was for like a high school project.
Yeah, I've a lot of the job shadows that we've had come in are from high schoolers.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that a lot of the places around us require that, which I wish my high school would have. It would have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was interesting. I've never heard of a high school doing that before.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool as well.
Yeah.
So you talked about forbearance and about the SAVE plan in particular. So was that process simple for you? And we're backing up a little bit.
Yeah.
But was that an easy or complicated process for you? And do you think it's valuable to you?
I was a little nervous signing up for anything outside of my regular plan.
Sure.
But at the same time, I was like, life is expensive. I can't be paying this much monthly,
right.
Especially like that's when I just started at TriStar when I was really getting into like paying my student loans.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't financially there yet. So shout out to Colby who works with us. He told me a lot about the SAVE plan. He's really good with student loans.
Yeah.
And after speaking with him, I was like, I'll give it a shot. And signing up for it, I remember being super easy. I don't remember having any trouble with it.
Yeah.
And before it was in forbearance, I didn't have to pay a dime.
Yeah.
Like it just kept saying zero. Like you owe nothing. And I would get those emails. They would say, your monthly payment, zero.
Yeah.
And then like all the forbearance stuff happened. I think salary or income driven student loan plans are great.
Yeah.
I personally like them, especially for like going back to like me, a business person who's just starting out. I'm probably making baseline salary.
Right.
But if you talk to like a medical professional, they're probably making a higher amount. So
so you pay a percentage of your income?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Well, I haven't paid anything yet.
Right. But when you start paying it,
yes, I will. But
so that's nice that they can customize it.
Yeah. Something I wonder though about the SAVE plan, especially because I haven't had to pay anything, I'm supposed to every single year report my salary. Mm-hmm. And I haven't gotten any notifications about that.
Huh.
And it just might be because it is frozen.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Wow. Well, we should look into that and definitely keep us
I know. I've been checking,
goes,
but especially because all the bill stuff that's been signed, I've just been checking.
Sure. Well, I think something's changed, right? In the big beautiful bill,
They
there was some changes to
will.
things.
In 2020, from what I've been reading,
Yeah.
2028 is when anyone who's on the SAVE plan or any other plans, they're only doing 2 plans.
Yeah.
And you have to pick out of those 2 plans.
Okay.
So by, I think, July 2028 is when
Okay.
it said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So what, kind of bringing everything together at this point, what do you think that colleges or governments or high schools or mentor, like what could have been done differently for you that would have been really helpful?
Wow. That's a big question. I feel like I just wasn't prepared enough. And I'm such a totally different person now than I was at 18.
Sure.
At 18, I had high expectations. I mean, I still do have
Yeah,
high
yeah.
expectations
Yeah.
for myself, but I wanted to succeed and I would do anything to do it.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to move away from home. I wanted to go to a university. I wanted different experiences and I wanted to go into marketing and all this stuff. I just wish back in high school, I mean, we had a college advisor, but that was only like appointment based. So they would never tell you this stuff unless you went to go see them.
It wasn't proactive. Like you had to go ask
But every once in a while, we'd have like some SVSU rep or like a CMU rep come into the college and talk about why you should go to their school. But it was never like, oh, here's all the costs laid out in front of you. Here's what you need to know about going into college. Here's what you need to know about loans. So I feel like I was a little underprepared.
Yeah. It's weird to me, right? Like what you're saying isn't that complicated.
No,
right?
you wouldn't think so.
Yeah, you could do it. And it's kind of what I'm working on, that spreadsheet that I was talking about, is looking at, a dozen or so in-state schools, some out-of-state schools. If they are out of state, is there a way to get a grant or some type of in-state tuition? And to break it all down and come up with like, here's your net cost, right? And then in between all those things, what are the different scholarships that are available? Where should you be looking? Both, private scholarships or local, whatever it may be. But it just seems like it's so simple, like that someone should be putting something together to help.
Yeah. I will say too,
young people.
Both of my parents didn't go to a university. They only got some community college. I don't believe either of them finished.
Yeah.
So for me going to a university, it was completely different for all of us.
Yeah.
So I think it was all of our turns going through that.
Yeah.
And for high school, I mean, we had personal finance, but it was more like outside of college and like and like budgeting and savings account, all this stuff. So
I just dated myself, by the way. Did they even go through a checkbook with you? I'm curious.
Oh, they did. It was very brief. I will say I have a checkbook, and a lot of people when I pull it out, they're like, "Whoa."
Yeah. Wait a minute. What's going on?
I use it for one thing and one thing only to pay one of my bills, but
yeah. Well, I think one of the takeaways, there's a couple of good hacks that you shared. Another big takeaway is, gosh, we need to do a better job of just helping young people to understand like the whys and the hows and what things are to look for and what is debt and what does that mean to you.
Yeah, or like with the loans, I had no idea that one of them accrued during college, one of them started after. I had no idea that I could start paying them during. Like when I tell you, I just accepted these things without doing any further research.
I didn't know that either. So you accrue interest while you're in school.
I believe it's the unsubsidized loan accrues as soon as you accept it.
Okay.
It's one of them.
I have to share with you, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think it's crazy that our government charges our young people interest to go to university.
Oh yeah.
It just seems like, wait a minute, this is the future, right?
Yeah.
This is the future of our country.
Yeah.
You guys are really important to the success, the future of our country.
Yeah.
And I understand, right? Not everybody, nothing's free in life, right? So I'm not saying there shouldn't be student loans available, but do we really want to burden folks with? I think rates today are in the 8% range.
That's crazy. My highest is 5%, which seems on the lower side.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree. I think if we're wanting people to work and do all this stuff, there's got to be some. I mean, not all jobs require an educational background by any means, but for people that do want that educational background, I wish there were better options.
Yeah. I just don't feel like it should be a revenue source.
Yes, agree.
For the United States government to be earning interest on our young people.
Yeah.
So that might be an unpopular opinion. I know that student loans have become a hot topic, right? Because of some of the forgiveness programs, and some people are angry that they didn't get that forgiveness
Yeah,
or
I remember
don't think
that.
it's fair and and I don't necessarily agree or disagree.
Yeah, that didn't last very long though.
Yeah, right.
It was very quick.
Yeah, it was here and there.
Didn't
pretty
get
quickly. Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully, maybe something in the future.
Something.
Who knows? Last thing before I want to ask you a personal question.
Okay.
Do you think that there's still a lot of pressure to attend college, or did you see a shift in folks talking more about the trades?
It kind of goes back to how the work field or like the hiring field is,
Yeah.
like how I couldn't get a job for a while. I know a couple other people, at least like on social media and stuff, and a few people in my personal life, they had trouble finding jobs too. And
Okay.
it kind of makes you think like, wow, were those 4 years worth it? Like
Sure.
I could have done a trade job and gotten in almost
Right. Been working.
yeah, and been
immediately.
working.
Mhm.
I still think there is a bit of pressure to go to school.
Sure.
But it's also like family values, stuff like that,
Yeah.
your environmental values. Like if you're going to high school and all of your friends are going to a university, you're
You almost
probably
feel
gonna
pressured.
yeah.
to some
So
degree.
I still think there is a little bit, but at the same time, people are starting to question it.
Yeah.
So
And I think it's important to question it. And I would never tell someone to not go to school,
Oh,
even
yeah.
if they were
I
ultimately
loved it. It was
gonna
a
end up
great
in the trades.
experience.
Yeah, it's the life experience
Yeah.
that you get from it. Granted, maybe not. I don't know. I think you can do
Yeah.
a lot with a university or a college education. And something we didn't dig into really deep, but you mentioned was community college.
yeah.
And I think that's a huge opportunity for young
Yeah.
people.
Something that I thought after graduating high school, I was like, oh, I'm not doing a community college. Like, it won't get me anywhere, which is not the case. Community
Right.
college will almost get you as far as a university will.
Sure, it will. Locally, we have the 3-in-1 Delta and
Yeah,
Northwood.
we
right?
didn't have-
Nobody
or-
asks you what did you do for your first 3 years.
Yeah.
They just look at the
The
right.
masters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what does it really matter?
Yeah.
So last take. So Will and I often on the show talk about like what we're watching.
Yeah.
So I know you and I are both big movie fans.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
what are your most anticipated for the year?
Boy, anticipate. Well, that's a different question.
I
wasn't
know.
ready for that. Well, first let me go with, and then I'll
Okay.
have you do the same. But the one I really liked recently was How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, it was so cute. It was
Yeah.
almost exactly how the animated was.
It was
Like script and everything.
yeah.
But it was
you know
cool to
what's
see.
funny, and Jody would probably hate that I share this, even though we all know the story.
Yeah.
She was bawling
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end, right? Where
Oh yeah.
and we knew what was going to happen, but I get it. It's an emotional story, and I
Yeah.
think for us, that's a story that Nico and Sam really liked as children.
It's
So there's a
adorable.
lot of nostalgia in there.
Great
so.
music, great scenery. I think when I turned 25, I just started crying at every movie.
Okay, gotcha.
Any movie that has that sort of emotional like
Sure.
turbulence in it,
Yeah.
I'm bawling.
Yeah.
So it was
So
a great movie.
What have you seen recently that you really liked?
So I did see How to Train Your Dragon. That was awesome. You know
Yeah.
what? I haven't been to the movies in a couple weeks, which is
Okay.
weird for
Yeah,
me
yeah.
because I would go almost weekly.
Right.
But I will say I've got some anticipated ones.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm excited for Together. It's a
Okay.
scary movie with Dave
Oh.
Franco and Allison Brie.
Okay.
Have you heard of
I love
it?
a good scary movie. I think I have.
You need to look
What's
up the trailer.
plot? Do you
So
or can we talk about it on the show?
I'm not
I
going to
don't
spoil too much.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it's about this couple that have a bit of a codependency issue.
know. Okay.
And I'm sure by the title you can probably
Yeah.
figure out.
I have seen
that
this trailer,
ends.
but I just don't remember it real well.
And then Wicked, the second part of
Okay.
Wicked.
Yep.
Phenomenal. Loved it.
Yep. I didn't see it, but Jody
Kevin.
Jody and Gigi loved it. I probably should watch it too.
It's a
but-
beautiful movie.
Yeah.
What are your anticipated or what have you seen lately that you like?
Well, like I said, Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
There was another scary movie that I recently saw that was, I'm sure you saw it.
Oh, probably.
This has been in the last 6 weeks or so. It's about a child that gets.
Bring Her Back?
Yes.
I didn't see it actually.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I didn't make it. I couldn't
Okay,
make it out.
so I watched good portions of the movie with my
I
hands
heard it
over
was
my eyes.
grueling.
Yeah, really. yeah.
That's one that's on my list to watch on digital
Yeah.
because I did want to see it. I just had no time. That and Final Destination.
Oh, yeah,
Bloodlines.
yep.
I wanted to go see
I've
those.
seen a lot of those, and I really do like those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and the boys in particular love a scary movie. So
Have you seen the trailer for Weapons where all those kids
I've
get
heard
up.
about it, but I haven't seen it. Yeah.
It's like very vague on what's going on, but the trailer looks great. So I am excited for that one too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's my most anticipated, like a lot of other people,
Sure.
but I'm really excited for Together. So.
All right, cool. So you heard it here, right? Some great stuff going on.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Abby,
Thank
for
you.
coming today and joining us on Mitten Money. And to all of our listeners out there, I hope you learned something. And to my son in particular, Nico, I hope you learned something, and we'll talk more about it later.
Yeah, but good luck out there.
Yep. Thanks.